Well, the New York City Landmarks Preservation Committee gave the green light last week to build a mosque blocked from ground zero. But there's a new report from the New York Post that developers only own half of the property. Now our next guest is calling for an investigation. Has been on this case all along. Joining us live from New York, Congressman Peter King. Congressman, your reaction to that New York Post revelation?
Brian, this is just one more incident that has to be looked into. I mean, why, after all these months, after all the hearings, after all the interviews, after all the controversy, why do we only now find out that they don't even own all of the property that they're trying to build the mosque on? Wouldn't this have been the first thing you would have told the local community board? Wouldn't this have been the first thing you told the Preservation Committee and all the talk on television and radio? Shouldn't they have made this clear? So my point is, we don't know where the funding is coming from. We don't know the full background of the mosque. Now we find out, for whatever reason, they didn't disclose the fact that they don't have full title to the property that they're trying to build the mosque on. And it's just another mysterious element in here, which makes you doubt everything they tell us.
Okay, so the secret is they don't own the building. So then who else owns it? And Con Ed. Con Ed. Okay, so will they buy that property then from Con Ed, or where do you think this will end up going? Would this derail the whole project?
Well, I haven't seen the lease. My understanding is that it's a lease, I think, through the year 2071, and under the terms of the lease, that the owners or the lessees have the right to buy it if they can arrive at a fair market price with Con Edison. So I think under the terms of the lease, they do have the right to buy it once you agree upon a price. The fact is, why didn't they tell that? Why were they why were they withholding that? What was the big secret here? To me, that should be one of the first facts that's on the table. And if it does, if an agreement can be reached between Con Edison and the lessees, then they have to get the approval of the Public Service Commission because it's a public utility. So this adds a lot of complicating factors. But my point is, such a basic issue, why were they keeping it a secret?
Congressman, what can you do vis-a-vis Con Ed, the public utility that does own this other part of the building and is leasing it? Can you step in and urge them not to continue to lease it and not to sell this building, which would, in fact, call for Public Service Commission approval? What can you do as a congressman to help stop that, if that's your interest?
Yeah, I haven't read the full lease, but my belief is that we can build up enough public attention on this, enough public outrage that we can put pressure on Con Edison, and then ultimately, if we have to, pressure on the Public Service Commission, because the governor appoints the members of the Public Service Commission, and to me, this is something that the public should certainly have a large say in.
First responders supposed to get medical insurance. The House had a majority to pass that bill last week, but they wanted 2/3 votes of the Democrats, and you only have 11 other Republicans vote with you. Therefore, they didn't get the 2/3. Congressman Anthony Weiner opens up and blames you for that. Now you're calling on the Democrats. Just ask for a simple majority like you did everything else. Where is that at?
Yeah, the whole Anthony Weiner thing was a diversion. We had 255 votes. It doesn't matter how many Democrats or Republicans. We had 255 votes. All we should have needed was 218. The Democrats put in a phony majority of 290, and they doomed it to failure. Thank God, Robert Zimmerman, who is a Democratic National Committeeman from New York, and we've put together a bipartisan statement calling upon the Democratic leadership to bring this bill back up as quickly as possible and allow it to pass under a simple majority. In turn, I will be calling on Republicans to avoid bringing up amendments on issues such as illegal immigration, which really are not fully relevant to this bill. It's more important that we take care of the cops and firefighters. But no matter what the Republicans do, the Democrats control the Congress, and Robert Zimmerman and I is saying that in the final analysis, the Democrat leadership has to allow this vote to come up and let it pass by a simple majority. I've never heard of an important bill having 255 votes and not being allowed to pass. As far as I'm concerned, the Democratic leadership sabotaged this and doomed it to failure.
All right, of course, we're talking about that bill to help the 9/11 responders. Congressman Peter King, thanks for coming on the show. Have a great week.
Thank you all of you. Thank you very much.